Welcome to Parev TV. Joining us is a young doctor, Lexi Zoraian, who is now in her first year anesthesiology resident at University of Pennsylvania. Lexi, before I continue, let me first thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule and talking to us. You had a very long journey as a graduate of University of Southern California, and then you continued your education at Drexel University Medical School, and now you're in Pennsylvania. We hope you continue your journey and that you realize all your dreams. Lexi, this has been a very difficult year that is coming to an end. And for almost a year now, we have been following the pandemic. And more recently, we're all very closely following the vaccine. You're among the first of friends who got the vaccine recently. And I thought it would be a very interesting educational interview to hear your experience, share it with the public. So, Lexi, how was the experience? What was the experience like getting the vaccine?
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you for having me.
Please.
The experience of getting the vaccine was actually really no more difficult or different than getting the flu shot. Our hospital got the first batches of the vaccine, and they are determining how to distribute it based on your risk of being exposed to patients who have COVID. So I got it this past Monday, and I walked in, I got it just like I got the flu shot in my upper arm. And then right after, it was at the hospital, so they had us monitor ourselves for 15 minutes after the vaccine with like nurses and hospital staff there, making sure that we didn't have any symptoms right after the vaccine. And then after those 15 minutes, we went to go make our second appointment because it's a 2-part vaccine that we're getting, that really everyone will be getting.
Were there any allergies, effects, or any side effects?
I only experienced, just like the flu shot, I only experienced some like soreness at in my arm where I got the shot, and it only lasted for like a day, and I didn't experience anything else. Some of the things that you can experience for a couple days after, just like the flu shot: fatigue, weakness, a mild cough, just kind of feeling a little bit run down, a headache, maybe a low fever. But I didn't experience any of that. And I knew a lot of other residents that got it at the same time as me, and no one that I knew experienced any side effects from it.
Lexi, did you have to take it?
No. It was completely voluntary. They emailed us saying that if you wanted to get it, this is how you signed up. And I believe they were doing it in chunks. So only certain people really got the email, and they're doing it in phases, and it's all completely voluntary. And they monitor, the hospital's monitoring our symptoms. So I actually just got a text message today asking if I've had any symptoms from the vaccine. And they also had us sign up for, the CDC has something called VSafe, that you can log into and kind of put in your side effects after the vaccine so that they can accumulate more data. Because it's amazing that we had the vaccine, but obviously it was used in an emergency situation, so we don't have as much data as we normally would for a longer length of time about side effects, about how long it provides immunity, all that kind of stuff. So there's still people who are willing, can still give the CDC information about that so that they can continue to collect data, which I think is really helpful.
Lexi, you know, we're all glued to television. We're all following the coronavirus. We hope it will come to an end. We hope the vaccine will be successful. Many people are complaining that they had inquired about getting the vaccine, but it's very difficult to get the vaccine.
Yeah, I think the first couple batches are mainly going to hospitals and to like long-term care facilities, places that the hospitals obviously kind of make sense because we're caring for COVID patients. And if we get sick, we obviously can't care for those patients. But the long-term care facilities, kind of when we first saw the coronavirus outbreak, it was a high volume and concentration in those nursing homes and long-term care facilities because they're all in like tight quarters and they can't really go anywhere. So if one person gets it, they're going to spread it to other people. So I think the idea is that those are still, those places are still kind of hotspots and centers that are still really being affected by this. And as new people come into those living environments from the hospitals, from the outside community, we still need to protect them. So I think that, at least from what I've heard, those are kind of the two main population groups that are going to get the vaccine first.
You know, this interview is informative and educational. What is your message to people who may be lined up to take the vaccine?
Yes, so I have a soapbox, don't worry. In my stance, I really have 2 points that I like to tell people, that I've really just told my family because they're the ones that will listen, is that even after you get both parts of the vaccine, and you have to get both vaccines to be fully immune. If you just get one, it doesn't really do much. So you have to get both, and you still have to wear your mask and practice social distancing even after you get the vaccine. Because like the flu shot, it's the exact same concept. So getting the shot, it might provide you full immunity, and you might be able to fight off the coronavirus infection without ever getting it. But it also might mean that you might just get less symptoms. So you can still get the virus even after you had the vaccine, which means you can still spread the virus. So if you don't wear your mask and practice social distancing, you can still spread it to people that haven't gotten the vaccine yet and people that can't get vaccines. And then you're really not helping the case. I mean, you're helping yourself because you won't get as sick, but life isn't going to go back to normal until this thing stops being spread at a rapid pace. So I think my fear is that people are going to get the vaccine and just go willy-nilly and go back to pre-COVID life, when shouldn't really ever be a thing. Pre-COVID life, we should always keep this in the back of our minds, even when this is much behind us. But I think in the immediate future, when you get the vaccine, you still really need to be diligent about all the work we've put in to at least stop the spread of the virus to the point where we have. So I think that's something that people really need to take seriously.
Lexi, everybody's predicting the end. How do you think this is going to end?
I have no idea.
What is your prediction?
The numbers that I've heard is that we can return to a normal semblance of life when 70 to 75% of the population has been vaccinated. I think that's going to take a little while to distribute the vaccine in that kind of fashion, and to make sure that everyone gets both doses, because you can't get them back to back. You have to wait somewhere around a month, 20 days to 30 days to get the second vaccine. So it takes everyone like 5 or 6 weeks to fully be vaccinated if they can go right on schedule. So I'm hoping by the summer.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
You know, summer is a very important time, and I really wanted to use this as a segue. You know, when you were growing up, you were, taken care of by your loving parents, Nancy and Jeff. They're very good friends of mine. And, we gave you the Armenianness through the church and with the camps, etc.
Absolutely.
Do you think that was enough? And looking back and looking at the past year and the developments in Armenia, what else would you have wanted to get besides what you got as an Armenian kid?
Oh, I really wish my parents forced me to go to Armenian school so that I could speak Armenian. It's when I have more time, probably in 4 years, it's the first thing that I want to do to dedicate a chunk of time to. Oh yeah, I think as a kid, it's hard to try to, sell that you have to go to Armenian school for 4 hours on a Saturday. So we really kind of, protested that, and they gave in. But I really, even the little Armenian that my dad can speak, I'm like, he can at least hold the conversation. And I wish I had that ability. I just think it just enriches the whole cultural immersion and experience. So I'll get there.
Yeah. Besides the language, you know what we went through as a people, the 44-day war. And many people who are on the sidelines, it was a wake-up call, I guess, to all. And what was your take of the whole situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was thinking about this when you sent me this question. I think the one word that I felt personally was just helpless overall. Because I can do all these these smaller things like spread awareness to people who have no idea what's going on in the region, and donate to all the different causes to help hopefully provide assistance on the ground, and contact elected officials. But I felt like you could only do so much without truly being there. And I'm just not obviously in the position where I can go there. I do know some people that did, which is amazing. But I just felt like you can never do enough for all the trauma and the violence and the destruction that was being experienced at that time and is still being experienced. So I think kind of from a personal perspective, it was helpless. And then once you kind of think about it on a more like international level, like what has to happen to have this be the result, this type of war, it was another form of helplessness of just realizing that. And I think everyone feels this way in our community, that the world just watched this happen and basically didn't even like turn an eye to it. They didn't even give it the time of day to think about what was happening, because they valued their political and diplomatic relationship with Turkey and Azerbaijan over the murder of all of our people, and being forced out of our lands. So realizing that is just, it's depressing, honestly. It's like there's not even a good word to encompass all the like the anger and the angst and the sadness that you feel when you realize that.
Lexi, honestly, I did not think you will plug the Armenian language as something you would like to learn. That's interesting, because coming from you, young generation who is sorry not to have gotten more of the language, what is your word of advice, or what is your closing comments to parents or community members who are listening to you at this moment? What is going in your mind?
Yeah, I think as far as parents, I went to Camp Newbar. I think just immersing your child as much in whatever activity they want to do, whether they want to go to camp or they want to be involved in church or whatever, just immerse your child in as much of the Armenian culture as you can, because you're also the better friends they make with your Armenian community, you're going to grow up with those people. And I have an entire network and community of people that
really
is like a whole additive to what I grew up with in like the non-Armenian community. And it really just, it helps you to not lose the sense of the culture as you grow up and as you are busy with doing life things. I still get brought back to my culture every time I go to church, or every time I see how a friend is doing from the Armenian community. And it's really, I think it's just very important to instill that in the younger generation. And I think they are. I think at least the younger kids that I know are still doing that, which is amazing, because there's so many other things that they could be doing now. So I think that would be my,
I have to ask you my last question. Why is it so difficult to get in touch with you and get some time out to talk to me? What is your schedule like? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I'm an anesthesiology resident, which is a little different because our first year is not anesthesia. It's a bunch of different things so that we can get a baseline fund of knowledge. So I do like 4 months of surgery, 2 months of medicine, a couple months in the ICU, a month in the emergency department, a couple months of pain. So the past 2 months I've been on surgery. The hours are a little more intense. So I think, and I just got off 3 weeks of nights, which also, makes it much harder because I sleep during the day and then I have no time to do anything because my free time's from like 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. and no one's up. So I think it's just like a matter of really just looking at my email and having the time to do that.
Lexi, I know you're very busy. I know you have a lot going for you. I know your parents are proud of you. I'm proud of you. I thank you for it. Taking time out to talk to us. I think the information you disseminated was most interesting, educational, and I'm sure people will benefit from your advice. Anything in closing?
No, wear a mask. That's like my one thing. Wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Keep your distance. Lexi, have a good day. Have a good year. And thank you for the interview.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.
You too.